What is going on, guys? So welcome to episode 10 of Behind the Map. And this time I'm going to talk about City Survival 2. Boy, where do I start with this one? So, originally this map was actually not supposed to be. Oh, I forgot. I should try to turn off all of all of this stuff because I remember Taylor had told me he wasn't a big fan of all like the logics and stuff. But yeah, originally this map was not supposed to be a city survival too. It was supposed to be like a cathedral type of map, but it's basically kind of like what I did with Nightclub or Dead Simple Survival. Um, basically, an extension to my city survival formula. So different geometry, but pretty much like the same formula that you expect from my city survival. But eventually things kind of took a change because um what is it? After making Redemptor Map 2, no matter like what map I made, I was just not really having fun with mapping anymore. Like I pretty much just everything just felt like a chore. And not only that, every time like I mapped, I always just felt very bored or just miserable. And I just felt like, I was just trying to map just to like, get things done rather than like map to have fun and, be able to like um play the map and have fun with my friends or playing alone and all that stuff. It wasn't like before where every time like I map I always got like a huge buzz, and that like sense of buzz definitely encouraged you to like keep on mapping. But ever since I started Redemptor Map 2 to Secluded Map 1 to Map 4, I wasn't really having that much fun mapping. And it's not because I believe those maps were bad. I actually, do enjoy playing those maps, and I'm really proud of what I've done with them, especially with Redemptor Map 2, because that map was extremely difficult to make because I was running so many ideas and it was just very painful. But yeah, back on topic. I was really, not having a great time mapping. When I map for like 1 hour, it feels like 4 hours. Not like, where when I'm having like fun, I could map for like 4 to 5 hours and it feels like only 2 hours. And yeah, basically, I was thinking about retiring from mapping. Like I was thinking about pretty much just quit my campaign. Like um pretty much just cancel like the future maps. I wasn't like gonna completely, unpublish all like the campaign. I mean all like the secluded maps and redemptor maps that I made. But you know, I just wasn't really having that much fun mapping, and not only that, I was barely getting any like plays and ratings on secluded, and that was really disappointing because I was really expecting secluded to do pretty well. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like your standard preset like campaign in like the first early levels, but I believe I do kind of like got enough personality and enough interesting twist to kind of like make it feel a bit more interesting than like the official SnapMap campaigns that was made by the id Software team or made by the developers themselves. But yeah, so basically, I wasn't really having that much fun mapping. I pretty much just felt miserable every time I mapped, and I was thinking about maybe I should just make one more map just to kind of like um end my mapping career or whatever if you want to call it. So yeah, I was thinking about making just one more map, one last map just to end uh just to end like my mapping hobby and just end this entire mapping thing. I mean, I wouldn't like completely quit mapping. Like I would still try to map my old maps like just to update them. But I was definitely thinking about making one more new map and that's it. I won't make any more new maps because I wasn't really having that much fun mapping in the last like 5 maps. Well, not the last 5 maps. I wasn't having like that much fun mapping Redemptor map 2 to secluded map 4. And yeah, so I originally thought about making like a hellish cathedral type of survival map with basically the same gameplay from City Survival 1, maybe with a couple of little twists here and there. But then again, I kind of like felt very nostalgic um for like my free update 2 days. I guess it's because back in free update 2 days, I always had like a lot of fun mapping, and there's just kind of like so many ideas that I had back then, and that's because back in free update 2, it was basically my entry to custom mapping, because I know like back in like the pre-patch days, there were people that actually made custom geo maps like Nico Dimas and Big Dog, and it was really crazy when I first like discovered this idea. But I wasn't completely like convinced to actually make custom maps until free update 2, where we got the grid module, we got like the objects, the hell props, and all that stuff. That's where I'm ready to try to make my first custom geo map here. But yeah, back in like free update 2 days, I had a lot of fun mapping, even though some of these maps they haven't really aged that well, but I just had so much fun mapping back then. And when I think of free update 2, when I think of like my free update 2 days, I always believe like me creating city survival was probably like the highlighted moment back in my free update 2 days, because that was really the map where I pretty much got like that pop hit, because back then I did make maps, but I barely got any plays or any ratings. But when I made city survival, all of a sudden people were pretty much just like obsessed with the map. I was getting like some crazy amount of plays, crazy ratings, and what do you know? Like City Survival is currently like the most popular custom geo map, is one of the most popular maps of all times, and yeah, it's just pretty crazy how that map has just gotten so successful. And since I was just feeling so nostalgic for the original City Survival and just kind of like the development process of it, I thought about, hey, why not try to make a City Survival too? Because back then I was basically making a map with like the free update 2 stuff. We didn't have any textures, we didn't have like any objects and all that stuff. And not only that, I was still kind of like an amateur mapper and all of that stuff. And I've gotten like so much more better with like decoration, and just kind of like gotten better by understanding like the technical aspects of SnapMap too. So basically, yeah, City Survival 2 is pretty much me just taking advantage of like the newer stuff of SnapMap and just trying to see what I could do with it. So with City Survival 2, I definitely got inspired by playing Quake Champions, the beta. There's like basically Champions. It's the first time where like a Quake game actually had like a class based type of system, and I decided to take advantage of this. And yeah, I pretty much created like my own specific classes, and I actually made sure like every class was very balanced, because I played like so many maps where there's like a lot of classes to choose, but I could tell which one is like underpowered and which one's overpowered and all that stuff. So yeah, I definitely had to like tweak a lot. Like, oh my god, dude. There was always like a lot of like, second guesses. It's like, should I do this or should I do that? But that's just how it is with like survival maps. I just have to like play it a lot, play it with friends, play it with randoms, and then eventually, I'll make up like that crucial decision. And what is it? Oh god, hold up. So, now I remember what I need to say. So originally, I actually had like plans of kind of like adding special abilities to the classes, and each of them were gonna have like their own special abilities and stuff. But I remember I couldn't like really figure it out how to make it work properly. But not only that, as time progressed, I kind of realized that would just ruin the balance. I think it would make the player a little bit too overpowering. So I pretty much abandon that idea completely and just kind of leave it how I just want it to be. I actually I forgot. I should tell you like the difference between like the normal system of City Survival 1 and the class system of City Survival 2. So in City Survival 2, I did kind of like make it a little bit more accessible in a way. Basically, every class any class you pick, you kind of like spawn with a specific amount of weapons. Some classes will spawn with like a really good gun, like the Slayer, where you get the Hell Shot and the Super Shotgun. And then some of them, they're not gonna like spawn as they're not gonna like spawn really weak weapons, but it's definitely not like as valuable as those weapons, like the Redemptor, where I believe it's just like the regular plasma gun and the heavy assault rifle with the zoom. So yeah, basically, I thought like the class system was a little bit interesting. My favorite one is actually the Slayer because he's the only one where he can use the Demon Rune, and the Demon Rune I actually buffed it up. Like you'd actually do 3 times the damage, and you actually get a lot more health. It's actually very powerful. I personally think it's the strongest power up compared to like the quad damage or the haste. So that's the class system for City Survival 2. I remember when Void Runner played like City Survival 1, I remember he kind of complained about like the speed of it. And I thought about, you know what? I should try to make City Survival 2 a lot more faster because I did have plans on making this map like more harder and more challenging than the original one, but at the same time still be accessible and kind of more friendlier experience to new players in a way. So yeah, I decided to crank up the speed. I really love the 150 speed, and I kind of like designed the city layout to be a lot more like to really complement like the speed. I try not to like add too many stuff that kind of blocks your way, and not only that, there's kind of like a little cool trick jump that you can do like right here and just jump over to this quad damage area. It's really cool like what you can do with like that fast speed. And yeah, I definitely, enjoyed the fast speed system. It definitely created some pretty cool trick jumps that you can find. And I actually think like maybe in the future I'll try to like add some um stuff to kind of like widen the skill gap. Like try to add stuff where you could get to specific areas much faster and all that stuff, because that's one of like my favorite things about like the original City Survival. Because if you really know like the map very well, you can get to specific areas much quicker than like the intentional route and all that stuff. So that's the speed. What else should I talk about? I eventually added bosses, so here's like some of the bosses here. Um, I don't really remember why I added them. I guess it's because there was never any bosses in like the original City Survival, so I thought maybe it would be cool to kind of like take advantage over that. And since I added bosses, I had to take out the chainsaw and the berserk because it would totally make the bosses way too easy. All right, so um, I guess I could talk about like the visual design. It's pretty similar to like what you expect from the original City Survival, but I think it does kind of look a little bit better. I'm really proud of like this little hotel that I made. Really proud of like the billboard too. Yep, representing some good SnapMap campaigns right here. And oh, this thing. So basically in all like the city, I mean in all like my survival maps, I put like a bunch of invisible um what do you call it, invisible barriers for like the cackle demons. They don't like fly so stupidly high up, because I hated that so much when I was playing Dead Simple Survival, and it just made me want to go back and try to add like an invisible barrier for all of my survival maps, because I just hate like how I think it was free update 5 that just ruined like the cackle demon AI. Like it's so annoying. So this map is actually bigger than the original City Survival because it's actually 2 modules there, while the original was just 1 module. And yeah, this part, there is like a big reason of why you want to go here, because this is where most of like the BFG ammo is at. And trust me, the BFG is gonna be so crucial once you get into like the later stages. And if you're playing the Slayer class, you can get another Demon Rune here, which really helps out. So is there? Oh yeah, this is like another interesting thing that I added. So back in the original City Survival 1, I was always kind of mixed with like the demon control grenade. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool to have like demons to fight on your side, but at the same time, that thing does kind of like break the map in a way, because like imagine if you go for like the tough monsters like the Cybermancubus or the Baron and just and if they never die, like holy crap, you could totally like take up so many of like the enemies, and it'll like, and you'll have like 12 enemies on your team, and the freaking, what is it, the little spawn system or whatever it's called. What is it? The AI conductor. Basically, that thing is not gonna like work if there are so many, friendly demons on your side. So I decided to basically try to use like a hell tablet system. I only made it player one because if off host players, like they will spawn double the amount. So this is supposed to spawn 2 specters. If player 2 uses this thing, it's gonna spawn 4 specters. And not only that, if I made it for everyone, what happens if there's another player that like uses another hell tablet at the same time? It's gonna completely, screw up like the survival experience, because you're gonna get so many allied AI on your team, and yeah, it would just break the map. So basically, these hell tablets are only for the player one, basically only for the host to choose. And these things, I feel like they're really good, kind of like early on in the game. They, I try to like not make them too overpowering. They generally spawn like around 2 to 3 enemies, and it's generally like the mid tier type of enemies. So there's no like barons or no cyber abyss. I was thinking about like if I should like include that, but I thought it was a little bit overpowering, so I didn't do that. But it's definitely a really nice feature to have, and I think it's like a nice feature to keep like the city. I mean, to keep City Survival 2 feel a little bit more interesting than City Survival 1, and not only that, I feel like it's just a better system than like the demon control grenade that I used to like implement back in like the very early version of City Survival 1. What else can I say, man? And I think that's pretty much, it for the map. Basically, I tried my best not to like throw in too many stuff on the map, because from my experience, it seems like if you put too many objects or too many boxing volumes, the AI nav pathing is kind of awkward. And that's kind of like one thing I'm so proud of, like my original City Survival map. Like the nav pathing is so good on that map. Like enemies can actually like flank you from different angles, and I don't know like what I did, man, but I basically try to like guess my theory. I guess it's because I didn't use too many like blocking boxes and all that stuff, because I think I have played like maps that have like crazy amount of like objects and blocking volumes and all that stuff, and it definitely kind of screws their AI a bit at times when you put like too many of them. So I'm really proud that this map, the AI nav pathing seems really good. And you know I was and not only that, when I made City Survival 2, I was just having so much fun making this map. It gave me a massive amount of nostalgia when I was like making the original City Survival. Like it was just one of those moments where I just wanted a map for hours, and I was just having so much fun, and that kind of like rejuvenated um my excitement to like map again, and gave me a lot more motivation to map. And not only that, what is it? So City Survival 2, I released it at a time where basically not a lot of people are like playing SnapMap. So I didn't expect it to be like so successful. I didn't think it was gonna like get that much plays or that much ratings, because I feel like it's pretty much tough to like get like 300 likes and with like, I don't know, 800 plays or something like that in like today's SnapMap. Not like back in free update 2. Like back in free update 2, that was very possible to do, as long as you kept like publishing your maps, and people would eventually like play them and all that stuff. But City Survival 2, holy crap, dude! I think this map has like what, 70 something likes or something and 4 dislikes, and it's got quite a bit of plays too. Like that's definitely a big achievement in my eyes, especially with like how little the population is for SnapMap and all. And not only that, ever since the success of City Survival 2, and just kind of like the excitement that I had while mapping this map, everything just kind of went right for me. like secluded. All of a sudden, people were playing my secluded campaigns, and yeah, secluded is definitely like doing a lot better than I thought it would be, because in the early, like, what is it, when I was making like the first four maps, I was barely getting any plays, barely any ratings and all that stuff, and that definitely sucked. But all of a sudden, ever since I made City Survival 2, everything's been just going my way, and that's totally great, man. And it definitely gave me a lot of motivation to map again. I generally, make these maps for like myself. I feel like it's very important to please yourself than like, for players, but at the same time I do care about like, the players' experience too. Like I definitely, want to make sure people can have fun and they won't like bump into some weird glitches or all of that type of stuff. But City Survival 2, I think this is, definitely a solid sequel to the original map. And not only that, I was also kind of like nervous making this map too, because I know like the original map is such a great map. It's definitely one of my favorite maps that I made. And speaking of like my favorite maps from me, I still need to work on my top 10 like favorite maps that I made and all that stuff. But yeah, City Survival 2, if you really enjoyed the original map and you kind of want something familiar but also something fresh, but also with a lot of more like speed and a lot more intensity, City Survival 2 definitely delivers all of that stuff. And I guess that's pretty much it for this episode of Behind the Map. I'm gonna try to like do a couple more, and stay tuned for more, people.